Hello, I'm going to do the Capricorn daily energy, and this is a timeless reading, so this is for whenever you feel drawn to hear this message. Also, this may or may not resonate with you. If it does, take what does. If it does not, leave what does not. All right, we have Five of Wands, we have Ten of Swords, we have King of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, Three of Swords, Ace of Swords, Eight of Cups, the Lovers, the Hermit. Okay, I'm feeling these three. The Hermit, Knight of Wands, and the Six of Pentacles. So for overall energies, we have the Hermit, we have the Six of Pentacles, and the Knight of Wands. I feel like there's a relationship that's ending that hurts, but it's for the good. But you may not see that right now. You're like, well, I don't understand, why that ended. I don't understand. You don't understand it in the moment because it's so fresh and it's so new, but it's like you realize that it was something that was not benefiting you. And it was something that you needed to move on from. But it takes you some time to realize that. So for current energies, we have Five of Wands, we have Ten of Swords, King of Wands, and Ace of Pentacles. So I feel that it's something that when I saw that card, I felt like there's a lot of arguing, there's a lot of disagreeing. It's not seeing eye to eye within a relationship. I feel like you may have the days where, when it's good, it's really good, but when it's bad, it's really bad. And I feel like the bad sort of outweighs the good. And it's been something that's been very heavy on your mind. It also could be a relationship that has already ended and you keep going back and forth. Like you keep going back to the relationship and you're like, well, I really would like to, you're thinking that maybe you want to get back together with that person or you want to go back to it, but maybe you go back to it and then it's like you guys break up. So maybe it's this relationship where it's constantly you're in the relationship and then it's good and then you fight and you argue and you break up and then it's like this back and forth. But I feel like this is so exhausting and you're like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Like you're realizing that, hey, this is not how I want the rest of my life to go. I need to do something about that. I need to learn from this, all right? For future energies, we have Three of Swords, Ace of Swords, Eight of Cups, and the Lovers. So I feel like this is what this represents, is that in the future you realize that this breakup was really something that was needed for you in order for you to move on, that it was difficult. But I feel like this Five of Wands energy in this relationship, either that, that's just exhausting you. And sometimes we have to keep going back and forth in that relationship. Like we keep getting back together and then breaking up and getting back together. And it's like, it's like you have to keep getting disappointed until it's like the straw that broke the camel's back. You're like, I can't deal with it anymore. I can't. This is toxic for me. This is not good for me. This is something that I realize that I have to move on from. I feel like right now you're not in that energy of seeing that, but in this future energies, you realize that, yeah, it really was for the best and it has enabled me to move forward. But when I saw this card come out, I feel like there's a new relationship that's coming in for you with the Lovers, but it's stronger and it's a better connection because you've let go of this up here and you've learned from this up here. Because with the King of Wands, I feel that represents somebody who's learning that, okay, I don't want a relationship like this. I don't want a relationship where there's this Five of Wands energy in here, or there's this Ten of Swords where it's like, oh, this heavy energy within a relationship. But I feel like you really learn a lot from this relationship. But it's a difficult one. It's a hard one, but I feel like when you learn it, you're happy that you've done it because you're seeing clearer. You're seeing that, it's not good to hang on to this energies up here. We have the Knight of Pentacles, and that's Slow, steady progress. I feel like it's slow going up here. It's kind of, like I said, it's that I feel like it's a relationship where you're together and then you're not together and you're together and you're not together. And it's like, but every time you get together, it's the same problems. It's not changing. You know that saying, a leopard doesn't change its spots. And you finally realize, okay, this isn't changing. Yeah, Three of Swords. Three of Swords again. That heartbreak, that hurt, that I feel like I was saying before, I feel like the relationship has more in the negative column than it does in the positive. And sometimes we romanticize about a relationship and we're just, even though the positive column is really small, we keep looking at that, but the negative column is really big, and we keep ignoring that. But it's getting back together so many times until we finally realize, okay, I'm making this relationship out to be better than it actually is, and I'm the one who's just getting hurt. I'm the one, that's feeling like this. You're the one who's feeling this. She just looks so exhausted and tired, and like, how many times can I go through this? Ten of Cups. And I love that because that's between the King of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. That's what you want to have. That's where you're headed towards. That's where you want to go. It's the King of Wands is learning from this over here, learning that you don't want to be in the Three of Swords energy, that you don't want to be in that disconnect, that hurt, that, stabbing of the heart, having that heart, the sword go right through the heart. And it's learning to say, what are those things that I need to do? What is that new start, those new beginnings that I need to do to get that Ten of Cups, where I have this feeling of this Ten of Cups, that cozy, that warm feeling. And then for overall energy, we have the Hermit, okay? And I feel like the snake here represents this here, this relationship here. It's like, how do I get past this? I need to figure out, how do I get past this? How do I move past this snake? And that's what you're dealing with right here, because you, on the other side is this Ten of Cups. Thinking about things, I feel like with this King of Swords here, it's like really thinking about that relationship and saying, is that the energy that I want for myself? Is that the relationship that I want for the rest of my life? Do I want to be in that energy? Really analyzing things and taking a closer look at it. Really looking at that negative column, like I was saying before, that maybe you're just focusing on the positive column and there's like 3 items there, but there's 100 items in the negative. And it's like, okay, let me really look at this relationship. Let me really look at that negative column and really let me figure this out, and really open your eyes to what's really going on there. And then realizing with this Ace of Swords, new beginnings, and putting that past behind you and being victorious over the situation and saying, hey, I want better for myself. I want to be in a relationship that is better for me. And this can be exhausting, really looking at our habits and our things that we're doing and our choices that we're making for ourselves. Are those really the best choices for ourselves? But then almost like taking a break. And I feel like maybe this also represents you being single for a while, and you being able to release these 8 of Cups, and you having that alone time instead of getting into another relationship where you're piling on more things and maybe you're just kind of putting a band-aid on this over here. But that you need that time to yourself to really sort through things, to really look at things, to really maybe look at those habits, look at those relationship, those relationships that you keep, those relationship habits, or those, relationship patterns of, if you keep picking the same type of person or you keep going back, why are you doing that? Really taking a closer look at that. I feel like this represents that you really need some alone time to yourself coming up in the future to deal with this 8 of Cups. Look at that. I love that. And then we have the Fool and the Lovers. Perfect. That's what I was saying, is I feel like there's a new relationship coming in for you. But you have to close the door on this over here. And that opens up the door to this here. And by hanging on to this relationship that is not satisfying, that is giving you this three of Swords energies, by holding on to that, you are preventing yourself from attaining this Fool and the Lover's energy, this new relationship that wants to come in for you. And he's happy. He's on the beach. He's with his dog. He's making sandcastles. He's having a good time. And it's like he's looking out for himself. He's like, yeah, And that's you looking out for yourself, saying, I'm making happy choices for myself. I'm making good choices for myself. I'm looking for that relationship that makes me happy. And you want to open up that door, but by hanging on to this, you're stopping this from coming in. And just realizing that I do feel there's a new relationship coming in, because I feel like you're stronger. Like you're learning a lot from this situation. And I love this here, you know, the Ten of Cups, the Fool, the Lovers, the Ace of Pentacles. Look at that. And then the World, okay? Feeling really proud of yourself because you've made the tough decisions. You've done those things that are hard. Like you figured out how to get past this snake. And then moving forward, that, you know, you're ready to move forward. But like I said before, I feel like you have to have this time to yourself. Like you have to have that alone time. As hard as that is, I feel like you have to have that alone time to really look at your relationship patterns and those really analyze and take a closer look at things. And I feel like that will really show a lot. That will really bring a lot to light about you and the choices that you make for yourself. And then having the Eight of Cups is being able to walk away. And it's almost like he's walking right into this Fool and the Lovers. Okay. All right, so let's see. Let's get... That it's hard to do, you know, it's definitely hard to do, but I feel like it's something really big for you to learn and for you to grow from. We have Fox Spirit, think on your feet. I feel like that represents that if you feel that you want to go back to this situation, really kind of thinking about that and say, is that really what I want? Is that what I want for the rest of my life? Kind of like, even if you go back into it, but it's like if you're hesitating before you do it, and each time you go back into it or you start thinking about a past relationship, you kind of hesitate a little more and you're kind of looking at it or analyzing a little bit more. Why am I thinking of this person? Why do I want to get back together with this person? And really I feel like it's almost like the clouds are becoming clearer and really seeing, is this really what I want? And being able to think on your feet and to be able to see it from a different perspective, you know. And if you hesitate a little bit more and you're like, yeah, you know, that's not really what I want, but then you may start thinking about it or get back into it, and then you're like, then you get away from it, and then the next time when it comes around, it's like, oh, you hesitate a little bit more. Yeah, do I really want to go down that path again or not? And it's kind of like that learning process there, that when you start to fall into this energy again, you start thinking, is that really what I want? Do I want this or do I want this? All right. Thank you so much for watching. As always, stay positive, stay safe, and I will see you next time.